So you obviously have all heard of a USP, but you may not have heard of an ESP, an emotional selling point. So we're going to talk to you now about your brand's potential X factor. And by X factor, we mean the #1 reason that your customers would buy your brand over competitors. And if you can tap into your X factor and include that into your brand and its communications, you're cementing your brand in the minds of those people as the go-to. So a really good example of a brand successfully owning a concept or idea in the minds of the consumer is Volvo and their long association with safety as their X factor. And when they talk about safety, yes, they talk about it in regards to their product benefits and features, but they also talk about safety as peace of mind, as a feeling of feeling safe. Tapping into the insight that, of course, car drivers want to feel safe in their cars and they want to protect the people that are travelling in it with them. And this is really clever use of that single-minded proposition from Volvo, because there is obviously a sea of competitors, other car brands, but they're dialing up things that are far more sexy, like performance, design, comfort, things like that. But Volvo have absolutely owned their association with safety. They've done it extremely well, and they even hero it in this visualization of a crumpled car, and absolutely haven't shied away from their X factor.
So the no mock is an acronym for no minimum order quantities. So they wanted to basically be these disruptors, these rebels within the digital printing market, able to come along to the rescue of small batch brewers and small batch soda makers and give them the opportunity to have the best aesthetically pleasing, sustainable packaging solutions that only previously the big guys were able to have. And we sort of looked at what are your competitive edges, and we talked around a number of things like creativity, quality, nimbleness, but actually it all came together really nicely in this idea of endless possibilities. And it's been a really useful starting point to then create more executions and more ways of making that come to life, both in their social world, but also actually in their B2B communications.
So you obviously have all heard of a USP, but you may not have heard of an ESP, an emotional selling point. And the Body Shop from day one have owned the concept in the mind of the consumer of ethical beauty. They've been pioneering in the beauty industry and have really led the way for the whole sector. And that's through things like their against animal cruelty campaigns, through their packaging, their environmental credentials, and Anita Roddick's real strong campaigning throughout the life of the brand. This is a much deeper connection that you'll have with your audiences if you can dial up the emotion associated with your brand. It creates much more of a bond and trust between you and the customer. So do have a think about this, but we're going to share a couple of examples of brands that do emotion really well. So Disney has long been synonymous with happiness and magic. That is the emotion that they own in the minds of the visitors to their theme parks, the viewers of their films. But it's not just the film in isolation.